Welcome again to our show, Diaspora Life Show, and we're glad that you're watching. Last week, we featured a group of Kenyan women living in the USA and how this group has put in place structures to assist those ones who are migrating to the US, especially women. This week, we shine the spotlight on the men and how the men are also responding to challenges that they face in the US. But before we roll the tape again, alert your friends and relatives that hashtag Diaspora Life Show is on and it's live on standard digital platforms. Welcome. This is somewhere between Chicago in Illinois and St. Louis in Missouri, and this is a section of Kenyan men living in this region who have come here to launch an organization bringing Kenyan men together called Kenyan. And it's here that I meet James Nganga, a Kenyan-born resident of Chicago, who is here to attend the launch.
My name is David Nganga, and I've been in US for about 19 years. I've worked in various industries. I started working for a bank. When I came to US, I started working like in the mailroom. Then from there I left. After some time, I started working for the insurance. Then during that time I was working for the insurance company, I decided I needed to change my career because I realized my career had hit a plateau. There was no room to wiggle around, either to go up. So I decided to go back to school. So the only option I had was to go into engineering because I felt engineering was more marketable. There was shortage of engineers. So I went and enrolled to a state university, and my journey to start a new career started.
Mr. Nganga is one of the few Kenyan men in the US who could be said to have broken through the ceiling, because as we speak, he has just been appointed by Boeing, an American company that makes aeroplane parts, as one of its leading engineers.
After 5 years, I graduated with engineering electrical. And even before I was hired, I had like 3 offers from 3 different companies. So I looked at the companies who was giving me the highest compensation, and I accepted their offer.
In the wake of an emerging powerful women's movement among Kenyans living abroad, spearheaded by Kenyan women in the US, commonly known as GITHUK and Queen's Night, the Kenyan men, traditionally believed to be the head of the family or household, are clearly feeling the heat.
When I came, there were not many Kenyans. So we didn't have many people to guide you on what area you can go into so that you can be able to, better yourself. The only jobs that I could get guidance is just go maybe work in a grocery store, go work in a nursing home, or being a driver. But I've seen with time now, many Kenyans now are going back to school. They're getting professional careers. So with that, you have somebody who can mentor you, somebody who can guide you, somebody you can look upon to. And that really is helping Kenyans try to move, try to better themselves. Instead of doing lower paying jobs, you say, I can go back to school, do, certain degree. You can want to be an accountant, you can want to be an economist, you can want to be an engineer or software engineering. And with that, once you get your degree, you have so many hundreds of companies that want to hire you.
The truth is that Kenyan women abroad do much better both financially and emotionally than men, and the reasons for this are varied and at times controversial. What is not contested, however, is the fact that this disparity in income and social standing has created tensions between the Kenyan man and his woman, the Kenyan girlfriend and her boyfriend, leading to divorces and separations.
One of the challenges, okay, you are right on that. The system here, it favors more women than men. So you can find that, women are doing well because they're adapting so well to American life than men. So that's why you find women may say, you may see like women are doing very well than men, but that's not necessarily the case. It's men who need to come and, try to adapt to American life. And the best thing to adapt to American is go back to school. Go back to school because at school will teach you how they want you to communicate. They'll teach you how, what you expected when you go out to work. And during time you're in school, you may even get an internship and go and work for a company and see the corporate environment, how it looks like.
The reasons why Kenyan and indeed African women and men seem to work at cross purposes can be categorized into two broad areas: nature and nurture, and African culture and traditions versus Western laws and rules. All these seem to combine to provide a soft landing for African women who migrate abroad while creating barriers, real or imagined, for African men.
My name is Onchari Anyen Siocha, and I'm the chairman of Kenya Christian Fellowship in New Jersey. Kenya Christian Fellowship is one of the oldest organizations in America, and New Jersey is one of the states with a very active Christian fellowship. The reason why men struggle in America is that the men take time to adapt to the conditions in America. When men and women come, the women tend to adapt very quickly because they get to the system. But the men, it takes them time because they don't adapt as quickly as women. So they find themselves isolated, and if they don't get an organization which brings them together, then they will be struggling.
But barriers or no barriers, the Kenyan men in the US are not taking the blows lying low. They have realized that to compete favorably with their women, they have to also leverage their numbers by organizing themselves in groups.
I always struggle with that, but from my personal view is when people come here, when we come from Kenya, they already have their culture with them, and when it comes here, that culture may not always work. In Kenya, or even I have some people from West Africa, when they come, the woman takes care of the home all the time. Men can go anywhere they want. But here, because of the family structure, you don't have people that can take care of your kids. You're forced to run around and take care of your kids. Sometimes you have to cook. So, especially men, they find themselves in a very unfamiliar territory. And they struggle with that. On the flip side, when women come here, they have a freedom that they did not have before. And because of that, the clash of cultures and just the lifestyle, you end up seeing sometimes people struggle with it and they end up going apart. But honestly, a lot of them end up going back, but they realize it doesn't matter where you go, it's who you are with, and wherever you go, there will be all the issues. But I agree with you, there are a lot of divorces, especially from the diasporians.
How many people, when there is volunteer opportunities in your company, you don't even think that we have youth who can go there to do volunteers? Yeah. How many people, like I had a friend of mine, she has been struggling to get, she did nursing practitioner. She was looking for a place to go to be attached.
That is the reason these Kenyan men are caucusing here in Area 5, Hillside Street in Milton, Massachusetts. It is also the reason why these Kenyan men living in Jersey are spending the whole afternoon strategizing on how they can improve their lot.
Tonight is to start identifying ourselves, figure out what those problems are, start solving them, so that when people actually see us, sorry, I thought I saw some people coming in, they will know what you're actually made of. Are we together?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
To start off, I'm very happy to have this day where we are launching Simba Club. And Simba Club is a social responsibility club in New Jersey for a long time. Men of New Jersey did not have a single umbrella where they could come and talk about themselves, talk about what we can do together. So under my leadership, we have been able to bring 60 men on a Sunday evening to talk about just that, how we can empower ourselves and how we can empower our communities. So that's the umbrella club called Simba Club.
That the Kenyan men are rising up to the challenge is evidenced by how this Jersey group is approaching the problem. These men have clearly identified and mapped the areas that men need to work on. First, the emphasis has to be on financial or economic empowerment of Kenyan men so they can take up their traditional role as heads of their families and households.
Today we are launching a club called Simba Group of New Jersey. It's a group of men that has decided to come together and establish 5 pillars that we can focus on to promote our community, empower the men, build bridges between here and Kenya and all of Africa. We've realized that men are very isolated and they have gone into ways that have become non-influential. And we want to make sure that men can take back the responsibility that they have initially given to become leaders, to promote families, to become spiritual, to do things that men are supposed to do. And this group of men are fired up. As you can see, they are ready to do exploits. They want to do things that are important to us.
For this to happen, some of them may need to go back to school to retrain, to get better jobs or be good at their businesses. Second, they have to mobilize and bring in more men who share the same vision. And for this to happen also, they have to form small groups and task forces to come up with strategies to realize their vision.
My gut feeling tells me that this is what was lacking. Mobilizing each other, moving each other to the next level, supporting each other. I am a living testament that in February 5th, my house burnt. And these men here, within a month, I was given some money that I was shocked about, you know.
As I talk to Kenyan men across the US, it's clear that most of them have realized that to change their circumstances, they will have to organize themselves, and that blaming women groups like GITHUK and other small groups won't just cut it.
My name is Anthony Kamnao. I'm based in St. Louis. I'm the founder of Kenyan Men Empowerment Network, an organization that started recently in June, launched in June in Massachusetts, Taunton. Our mission is to bring men together so that men in diaspora, away from home, away from Kenya, to have a conversation here so that we can be better men, so we can face the challenges in diaspora, to be strong. Without each other, it's hard to make it, but when we come together, I know we'll overcome.
So what are these challenges that Kenyan men face here in the diaspora?
Because of the culture difference, when you're home, men usually have a lot of things they can do, like authority. But when you come here, women have equal rights. And the system in diaspora favors women. A woman, and then we talk about a child, and mostly even after coming home, so a man is right there. So we tend to have a conversation. So how can we empower ourselves? Especially the challenges, how can we be better educated? Can we come together and empower ourselves in business? And I like Jewish, the way they come together. They start business together. They empower themselves with the education. They empower themselves financially. Indian community do that. They do the same. Individually, Kenyan men are doing that, but we want to start having that conversation so we can do it together. Education challenges, financial challenges, family challenges. It's different culture.
Women figured out, I can have a small problem, she can have a big one, but we can work it together. Men, tumejikalisha chini. Tunatakanga ndio, tutakunywa, tutaongea, tutafanya kila kitu, lakini angalia, in 5 hours 2 men wamekaa chini wakiongea, 5 hours 2 women wameongea. These women came out with a plan. Sisi tulilewa.
That brings us to the end of our show today, and we hope that you enjoyed the show. But again, let us keep these conversations going through social media. You can also drop us a line through our email address, which is diasporalifeshow@standardmedia.co.ke. See you again next week.